sort of conflict that we're going to be bringing into this piece. Okay? So, Julie.
I'm Laura's co-worker, so I should say that Laura was in the UK that I ran, and I've known Laura since she was 12 years old, so I'm really proud that somebody who was in my youth theatre is now leading the group and has been coming for the past 4 years without me bringing people to Indra. Our group, we're based in County Durham, which is in the north of England. It's the country, it's not a city, and it's a very white community. And where we live is the most prized rural county in England. For a lot of reasons, it's very far from London, and its economy was totally based on mineral extraction, coal mining. And so there have been many conflicts around the economy to do how that has affected the communities, the people, and I suppose if you look around the world you will see that those kinds of conflicts are still going on for people, often because the people who are doing the work aren't the people who really benefit, they're not the people who really get rich from it in any way whatsoever, and they often seem to be expendable people. And in our youth theatre we do a lot of projects about the past, because we're trying to learn about what the past can teach us about how we can make a better future. And it kind of helps us to understand generational differences as well. This project was a project we did in February. It was a project with a museum of working class life that is in our county. So it's not a museum about way in the past. It's a museum about very recent past. And so lots of people who live in the county remember it, when they go to the museum, it's kind of like the houses and the places that they remember. And we were asked to get involved in a project about a conflict that had happened in the 1950s and 60s because of political decisions that were made in secret about all the communities in the county. What happened is that the local council decided which villages would get money and which villages would be left to die. They decided they wouldn't spend money on schools, buses, houses, and they would just let villages literally fall apart and crumble, and in the hope that people would leave them and go and live somewhere else. Henry and I both lived in one of those villages. It refused to die. But he doesn't have a school or a shop. He doesn't have many buses. And so even 40 years on, the disinvestment that happened then still has relevance now. And many of the people who remember that haven't forgotten it, and they kind of think that governments have completely forgotten about them. And so what is happening now with the economic crisis and austerity, again, makes people despair, because they remember what happened in the 50s and 60s when they had no power and when other people made decisions about their lives. So our project was to take the young people to the museum and for them to learn about their own history, which many of them didn't know. Am I true? Many of you didn't know? Yeah, you didn't know about this. Was for them to learn about that. And the day that we went to the museum happened to be National Holocaust Memorial Day, and we also made a ceremony in the chapel in the museum for all the victims of genocide and Holocaust right across the world. But then we learned about the things that had happened in our community. Then Laura worked with them for them to make their own drama, and they went back to the museum later with their families and their grandparents and their friends, and they performed this drama and the strike, was it a parade? Yeah. Yes, they performed this drama and also a protest march through the streets of museum with their family. Okay? So we're just going to show you one scene today. It's a scene that happens in a schoolroom. So when they performed it in an old-fashioned schoolroom, and then they went outside into the old-fashioned schoolyard. So it's a scene in three bits. I have to do it from the script because I wasn't in it. Okay, I'm being Lorna.
Also, also we've got Anthony from the Burnley group, who's helping us because we're a person short for this particular piece. Anyway, if you're wondering what this is a school bell.
Exactly. So the way that they decided the villages, they called them category A, B, C, or D. And if you were an A village, you were going to get investment and survive. And if you were a D village, which my village was, you were going to be left to die. Just to make note of that.
I'm just sign language.
Yeah, no. Just listen out for that, because that's quite important, okay, in how that's divided into the piece. Right. Fancy cleaner. It's a vacuum cleaner. Are you sure? Oh, aye.
Shut up, it's a lipstick. It's so right anyway. Shut it right into my dad's shirt and clean the kitchen floor, then she goes into the rock because the archers and some of them. He was at ours on Saturday. He tried to sell us television. My dad comes clean out of the bedroom saying it's now got a book for digging. Then he left. Digging with our lipstick though. What's your dad doing on the day? Leave him. Not working. No.
Being laid off, hasn't he, Mom? Laying off the shirkers, that's what I like.
Your dad's not a shirker.
You category D, yeah? Means you're all shirkers and idiots.
You say that again? He doesn't have to. It'll serve his all right when he's reached it level and you'll have to shift anyway.
When the nice new house is again.
When you won't be able to afford a thank you, please.
Careful, Max, I'll thank you cleaner.
I take it from the noise level that you've all completed your work. Very good. I'll have that back now. Thank you. Yes, very good. That'll give me a good laugh over playtime, I'm sure. And until then, I think it would be wise if we crack on with some more biology.
Is it food changing in, sir? Because we know all about food chains. Normally,
Very good, very good. But food chains were last week. Would that it were dissection term, told that you are. I'd love to cut off that head of yours and just demonstrate this cavernous void. But alas, today we're going to focus on bird migration.
you look at me, you learn something. Get equal to me, sir.
No.
Hawk then.
Do you fancy yourself a hawk much?
Better than a toad.
Very good.
She's got the beak for it. My mum said the Roman nose.
Aye. And the Roman you nicked it off once it's back.
It's true that not all birds have beaks, isn't it? Some
Yes.
have bills.
Yes, that is true. Some waterfowl.
So, she's in a hawk just because she's got a big bill, like her mum.
I'm not sure I follow.
Her mum's got a big bill at the butcher's and the grocer's and at the co-op, and she can't afford to sell it.
Shut up! It's true.
Enough. Beaks and bills are irrelevant. Today we're looking at bird migration. Now, can any of you tell me why some birds migrate and others do not? I'll be amazed if you can. Yes, Dawson.
Sir, some migrate because they know it's good for them. They go where they can be more comfortable. Sleep there, smell there, sun.
And sir, some stay put because they like it there, where their friends are, where their parents grew up. The ones that count, anyway. My dad said it's like the others have forgotten.
No chance what your dad thinks. Category D. The one that counts.
You say that again! Who do you think you
Oh,
are?
yeah,
You're a big, big bag of the earth! That's what you are!
Enough! I have had it up to here with this class war. You leave all that behind you when you enter this classroom. Do you understand me?
Dead in the classroom. With your back in the yard.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir!
Very good. Now, since the topic of birds is clearly way too contentious for your tiny mind, perhaps you should get your jotters out for Latin and conjugate some verbs badly. Let's see if that puts a damper on things.
Where is it? Which one of these? Which one?
Oh, Mrs. Warren, hello. We've given up on little Anthony.
Don't you come back with me, Mr. Heslington.
Well, what's the matter?
I'll tell you what the matter is. I sent Anthony off to school this morning.
We didn't make it here.
No, Mr. Heslington, he did not. And Ava turned up on my doorstep with our Anthony in tow, like a drowned rat, soaked to the bloody skin, with this bruise on his face.
Oh, what happened, Anthony?
Dave happened. Dave said about him as he was walking. His own friend. Dave threw stones and hit him, Mr. Heslington. Then they threw him in the back. All because his dad and me had decided to go to the new village. It took him an hour to say it. My heart suddenly broke with it.
Well, I'm sorry to hear it.
And then others are no better. What's it come to?
Perhaps, just come out here, Mrs. Ward. We'll have a talk. We're doing Latin, Anthony.
And if any of you lay that hand
Come along, Mrs. Ward. Come along. We'll now take you outdoors into the playground.
Adam's such a cool.
Category A, category D.
Your category D, ain't ya?
I think it's an A.
Well, we don't want him.
Stop it! Stop it!
Look, just bloody stop it, will you? All of you!
What did we do wrong? The past is gone, so move along, get along. Go!